friends. How are you today? You. What was that? You. Anyway, I'm glad to see you back again. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button, and let's get on with the video. I want to talk today about two movies that came in the mail, and I was super excited. They're brand new. I haven't opened them up yet, but I have seen them in the past, so I can talk to them. I can talk to you about them. And the first one I want to talk about is the movie Matilda. Almost 80% sure. 76. Now, you've probably seen this movie. Matilda is a great children's movie. If you have not seen this movie, you need to see this with your kids. You know, I talked to a lot of parents, and some parents are like, they don't watch movies with their kids. You know, they legitimately just watch the Disney Channel. I mean, like, that's all that their kids that's all they watch. You know what I mean? Is the Disney Channel. And some of these movies are just not on the Disney Channel. So there is two movies that I want to talk about today. I want to start with Matilda, and then I'll go on with the other one, and I'll explain a little bit more about this whole parenting thing, you know, because I do deal with kids, and I have 4 kids of my own, and they are all older now, and they've survived, so I think I can give my expert opinion on different things. And the movie Matilda was a great movie. So if you have not seen Matilda yet, this is what it's about. It's about this little girl, and she lives with her parents, and her parents are kind of like just really not good people. They never. It's like they don't even want kids. Like they don't even care about it. Like they don't know anything about their daughter. It's just a dysfunctional mess. You know what I mean? And she's got these powers because I don't know. She was born with these powers. She can make things. What's the word I'm looking for? What's the the power where you can like move things and levitate things and telekinesis. Yes, like Carrie. Yeah, she got this Carrie. It's Carrie in a kids movie. That's what I'll call this. Kids Carrie without the killing. Try saying that one 3 times fast. It's a movie about this little girl, and she wants to go to school, and the parents legitimately don't care so much that they didn't even sign her up for school. She had to tell them that she's old enough to go to school. They didn't even know how old she was. They didn't even care because one of them just wants to gamble, and the other one he's a car dealer, and he's kind of a rip-off artist. He's just really terrible people. And she ends up going to school, and her teacher, she like absolutely falls in love with her teacher. The teacher falls in love with her. And it's kind of a really beautiful, nice story. But then there's like the principal of the school, and she's just like this evil person or whatever. And so it's like the little girl battling against the evil principal and trying to get out of her house with her terrible parents. And then you got this one wonderful teacher that takes her under her wings and helps her out and realizes that she's like super smart. I mean, this girl, the Matilda character, she's like 100%. She's like an adult. She's an adult, super smart adult with this special telekinesis power because her brain is just so unbelievable. You know, it's a great fantasy kids movie that you should watch with your kids. If you have not seen Matilda, check it out. Good movie. Sorry for the interruption. My daughter came home for lunch. That throws off my whole game. So now I got to recalculate and whatever. So I was talking about Matilda. If you haven't seen it, it's a movie you need to watch with your children. Okay, next movie that I want to talk about is the movie Little Monsters.
There is nothing under your bed. Now, why don't you just go to sleep, okay?
There was a monster! There are no monsters. If you say there's no monster, then switch rooms with me.
Boo. Tonight is your lucky night. Imagine a world solely of kids. No teachers, no rules, no homework, no parents. Come on now! I'm a monster.
Then what do monsters do?
Good question. Come on, scare the hell out of her. It's our duty.
Come on, stop it!
We almost had him. He was becoming one of us.
Wake up! Eric's gone. Have you seen him? Do you know where he went?
They have Eric. I know where Eric is, but I'm not leaving until I have him. If we're not up before the sun clears the horizon, we turn into monsters. Are you still in? I'm in.
Keep an eye out for monsters.
Let's blow him away, Brian!
No way out!
I want my brother!
You amaze me.
Exactly.
take a walk on the wild side.
And this is a Vestron video release, which Vestron Video is kind of like a Scream Factory and a, who else would I put them up there with? Scream Factory, Arrow Video. They do a really good job cleaning up older movies and giving them a 2K, 4K, and a bunch of bonus features with new interviews and new things. They're just really, really good. And Little Monsters was one of my favorite movies when I was younger, and was one of my kids' favorite movies when they were younger. And this is the topic that I wanted to get into a little bit. Now, we talked about Matilda, and it's kind of a far-fetched kind of thing about, you know, this dysfunctional family and a little girl trying to, you know, find happiness in a crazy kind of world, in a crazy situation that she's thrown into. And then we got this movie called Little Monsters. Now, let me tell you a little bit about Little Monsters. Little Monsters is about this little boy, and of course he's afraid of monsters, like every little boy should be afraid of monsters, and there happens to be a monster under his bed, but the monster under the bed is played by Howie Mandel, so he's a funny monster, he's a happy monster, he's supposed to be there to scare, but the kid catches him, and the trick with the monsters in this is, if you hit them with a light, they turn into just clothes. And so it's a comedy. It's a funny horror kids comedy movie. Now, the reason I want to talk about this topic is I have dealt with a lot of parents, and they seem to think that just Disney is the way to go. Just nothing but Disney movies for their kids. Disney movies, I mean, they're fine. They got their place in children's lives, but you got to think about Disney movies too. In every single Disney movie, one of the parents dies. There is a killing. Somebody gets killed in a pretty tough way. I mean, I as I'm saying this, I'm thinking of The Lion King. I'm thinking about, you know, the father getting killed by his brother, you know, pushed off a rock top. I mean, that's the one that's like fresh in my mind that I'm thinking of. And that was pretty graphic, rough scene for a child to watch or whatever. You got Up, where you're dealing with the husband's wife passing away or whatever. So you're dealing with life, and it's good that movies help kids to cope with life, but there are parents that are just like nothing but Disney. I'm not showing my kids any horror movies. I'm not showing my kids any dramas. I'm not showing my kids anything but cartoons and Disney type movies. Okay, and I think that this is kind of a difficult thing, because this is a kids horror movie. And it does deal with things that children would probably be afraid of. I mean, what kid wasn't afraid of a monster in a closet or a monster under the bed? We know these things don't exist, but the kids have to deal with them, have to cope with them. So this is to me, movies are coping skills. Now, all of my children were raised on horror movies. This was one of my kids' favorite movies when they were kids. They loved watching this movie. They would watch it over and over again. And to be honest with you, at the end of this movie, it gets a little scary. There's things that happen at the end of this movie that are a little over the top and a little unnerving for a child. If you got a child that's like maybe 6, 7, 8 years old, whatever, it's a little unnerving. It gets you a little worked up, but it's important. Why is it important? Why is it important for kids to watch kids type horror movies? It teaches them coping skills. It teaches them to not be afraid of things. You know, if a parent would sit down with their child and watch a movie with their child, watch a horror movie type, not saying a full-blown horror, rated R, you know, nudity and violence and blood and gore, not that kind of stuff, but I mean like a movie like The Goonies, or a movie like Little Monsters, or a movie like Labyrinth, or a movie like, I'm trying to think what's Harry Potter, or Flash Gordon, or I'm trying to look around, trying to think of things that pop into my head that you know, kid-oriented, that, I mean, I think you have a pretty good idea what a kid's horror movie would be. But it helps them with coping skills. If you sit down with your child and you watch a movie like this one deals with monsters under the bed, monsters in the closet, scary creatures, okay, that your children might legitimately have a fear of. But if you sit down with them and you watch it with them and you point out, well, this is, you know, this is make-believe. This is not real. This is a movie, you know what I mean? And these type of creatures only exist in movies. And look. And this monster in this movie, like a Monsters Incorporated, if you want to go Disney style or Pixar, or whatever, this monster is funny. He's a nice monster. But then there's an evil monster, which also shows kids that there is good and bad out there in this world. You know, I don't understand why we sugarcoat things for our children. You know what I mean? Because they're going to meet some bad people in their lives. And they're going to meet some good people in their lives. They can't possibly go out into this world and think that everything is great, everything is good. I mean, there's protecting your children, and then there's teaching your children to handle life. I mean, I know there's people in my life that are extremely book smart. They're so book smart. I mean, they bypass me with their knowledge of history and math and science. I mean, but you know, life, you need to have some life skills. You need to have some life lessons. And movies like this teach you lessons. They teach you you know, that things aren't what they seem to be. And it's a good movie. I mean, it's Howie Mandel does an excellent job as one of the monsters in this. Rick Dukeman is another actor in this. He's the guy from The Burbs. He plays another monster in this. He's a little bit more scarier than the Howie Mandel monster, but it's fun and funny. I mean, this stars Fred Savage. It also has the guy from Home Alone, and I'm gonna draw a blank on it. Am I gonna look at it? It would be nice if I looked in the back of this thing and it just like popped right out at me. That would have been like, it would be absolutely amazing, and it never happens. And I'm looking, and I'm looking, and I'm seeing nothing. Let me see if I pop this out of this thing, if they give me more information on here, which they don't. It's the guy from Home Alone, one of the two guys that's not Joe Pesci. There you go. I can't remember his name, and I'm sure somebody will comment below with the right name. Thank you very much for doing that, because I cannot think of what his name is off the top of my head. But he is the guy that's Harry and Harry. Wow, I'm not even gonna be able to think of his name from Home Alone. Harry and Anyway, comment below. You know what his name is. It's the other guy that's not Joe Pesci. He's in it. He plays the father. And the other thing with this movie is the parents are going through a divorce also. So, I mean, it's like, these are things that happen in the real world. I mean, I understand this is a fictional horror comedy movie based for kids, but these things happen. This stuff happens to children every day. Kids go through divorces. I mean, you got to understand that when you're going through a divorce, you're not just going through the divorce. Your kids are going through that divorce. They're going through the understanding of separation and what they need to understand what's going on. And movies like this help them to understand. They might say, "Hey, Daddy or Mommy, you know, what's divorce?" You know, and then it strikes up conversations, and then you can socialize with your child and explain to them what's going on. If your parents went through a divorce, you can explain to them what you went through and how they went through it. And if you're happy with your wife or your husband and everything's going great, you could also explain to them, you know, how happiness, you know, how happy you are in your life, in your marriage, and this is never going to happen to Mommy and Dad. You know, it's important that kids see more than just one flat thing, you know. And the other thing that blows me away is parents that were raised on these movies and are like, I'm not showing them to my kids. You did good. You turned out well. You're a good mother and a good father, and you turned out well. I mean, why would you not want to share something amazing, such good memories and such good experiences and things with your children? Why wouldn't you want to sit down with them for an hour and 20 minutes or whatever and have like an emotional moment? And anyway, the movie Little Monsters is a great movie, and I was happy that Vestron Video did this. And like I said, it's a movie about monsters living under the bed, and the kid gets pulled. He actually follows the monster into the other realm, under the bed realm or whatever, which is like, it's like monster heaven. You know, there's like all kinds of things going on. You can like break glass, and you can run around and do what you want to do, and it's like a free-for-all, because in Monsterland it's like a free-for-all. So you get to see like all different kind of aspects of different things, and it's just an enjoyable movie for the kids. And I am so happy that, you know, Matilda was released, and I put this off for a while. This is the special edition, which is you know, it has some extra stuff in it, and the Vestron Video stuff always has extra stuff, and they always do a great job. So I was happy to make these pickups part of my collection, and I will be upgrading these over to the DVDs, over from the DVD to Blu-ray. Yes, okay. And yeah, is that all I gotta say about that? Yes, get these movies. Watch them with your kids. And I also want to throw out some other recommendations, because I'm going to do some reviews on other kids-oriented movies, because your kids have to see Labyrinth. It's a great movie. You know what I mean? It's a never-ending story. Great movie. Watch it with your kids. It raises questions. I can't not tell you how important it is to socialize with your children, your 4-year-olds, your 5-year-olds. You need to battle the tough questions when they're young, and they'll remember them as they're going through the years. You know what I mean? So when they meet that bully in school, they'll have some coping skills. When they meet that good guy or whatever, that good teacher or whatever, that good person, they'll know how to react. It's not just one level of feelings. You know what I mean? You need to watch these types of movies and share your past experiences. Share when you saw them with your parents, or share what they made you think when you saw them for the first time. Were you afraid of monsters under your bed? I know when I was a kid, I didn't want my closet door open. I need that closet door shut. I was afraid. You know what I mean? How many of you were raised with night lights? You know what I mean? Because you were a little bit afraid of the dark. If you take the time to help your kids through these different emotions and different feelings or whatever, and you explain that it's okay to have these fears and how you got over them and how as they get older, they're going to get over them, it's a great, great thing for everybody involved. So I am proud to say that these are part of my collection. I will be watching them again, and I'll bet you anything. If I put either one of these movies in the living room and I press play, at least one or two of my kids are going to sit down and they're going to stare at the TV alongside me, and they're going to rehash memories of their childhood, which were nothing but positive when it came to seeing both of these movies. And with that said, I want to thank you for your time. Please hit that like button. Please hit that subscribe button. If you do not agree with me, or you have anything you want to tell me that maybe I'm wrong about something. I know I work with children. I've been working with children for a long time. My oldest daughter's like 23 or something like that. She's still alive. I've done something right. You know what I mean? So, and all of them are very well behaved, you know, pretty much, especially around people, you know, that aren't me or my wife, you know, but when they're out in the real world, they're very respectful. They're very trustworthy. They're good kids, and they were raised on horror movies. They were raised on dramas and action movies, and they were raised on movies with me, and we made it a special event, whether it be at the drive-in, at the movie theater, at home, in our own personal movie theater, sitting in the living room, eating supper, or whatever it is. We have these experiences. We share them together, and you should want to share these memories and experiences together with your children. So grab your kid, grab these movies, and I will see you later.